Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another conversation with the Mutts. The first in quite some time, I might add. I'm your host, the Celtic Mutt,
And I am Mrs. Mutt.
and tonight we are going to discuss the haunted White House. Um, there have been a number of sightings over the years, um, from the 16th president up and down the presidential ladder, as it were. Um, for example, did you know, honey, do you know which room is the most haunted in the White
I'm
House?
I'm gonna take a guess and say the Rose Room.
Which is also, which has multiple names. It has almost as many names as it has ghosts. The Rose Room, the Presidential Suite,
The
the,
Queen's Room.
the Queen's Room, and of course, most famously, Lincoln's
The
bedroom.
Lincoln Bedroom.
Yes. Lincoln has been said to haunt it, as has Thomas Jefferson haunts the Yellow Oval Room, which is not to be confused with the Oval Office. The Yellow Oval Room is actually on the second floor. It's part of the family's private suite of rooms, but it is not to be confused with the official Oval Room. And he is said Thomas Jefferson is actually said to be seen and or heard, depending on who you speak to, playing the violin. Did not even know the man was a violinist till we started studying this.
Um, I want to say that. Oh, wait a minute. What was that president's name? That was no. Forget what I was. No, forget that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, maybe I can help you. What are you trying to?
I lost what I was thinking.
Oh, she
Oh,
lost.
no,
She lost her marble.
I was getting people confused for a minute because
Ah,
wait a minute. Who was that? You? What was the president you were talking about just a second ago?
Thomas Jefferson.
Okay, I was getting my J's confused. That's why.
Now, were you thinking Jackson?
Yes.
He is also said to haunt. Old Hickory is also said to haunt that particular bedroom. He's often seen sleeping in the bed.
Yes. And in addition to that, Mary Todd Lincoln claimed to have heard him stomping and swearing.
Yes, yep, I have heard that. Um, I will say that one of the funnier aspects of the haunted White House, we're going to leave the Lincoln bedroom alone. One of the funnier aspects that I found kind of amusing was that the ghost of Abigail Adams, John Adams' wife, um, the wife of President, yep, the wife of President John Adams, and I'm quoting here, is also said to haunt the White House. She
Yes.
was known to hang laundry in the East Room, and some say that they've seen her ghostly figure carrying laundry baskets. It's
Yeah.
also said that the scent of fresh laundry can be smelled frequently, as is lavender.
Yes. The scent of lavender, which I'm assuming she used in the cleaning.
I would
Well,
assume so. Yeah, I would assume so. Um,
which may have been a good thing because lavender is supposed to be calming.
Supposedly, yes.
That may have helped to calm her husband when he needed it.
That's possible.
Cooler heads.
Yeah, I just find it odd that the Lincoln bedroom has multiple names. Uh,
Yes.
Speaking of Lincoln, the ghost of Willie Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln's son, um, died in the
Well,
White House during his father's presidency. There have been
well,
reports of his ghost being seen and heard in the White House.
yes. Willie died in February while he was in while Lincoln was in the in in office.
Right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, he died of typhoid, correct?
Correct.
There's also reports, or at least Mary Todd Lincoln told, I believe it was her sister, that in addition to Willie coming to her, Willie would bring other uh, past relatives, including their other younger son who had passed.
Yes. M- uh, Mary was known to be something of a spiritualist, which was a big movement at that time.
Right. Well, a lot of the families of Civil War soldiers were seeking comfort for the losses of their
Correct.
loved ones.
Correct. I was just getting ready to cover that.
Yep.
And she was known to frequently carry on seances, which is going to draw in spirits. I hate to
Yeah.
tell folks that, but that does bring in spirits, and not always the ones you want.
Right.
Um,
And but just a bit of a side note, from what I understand, what I came across here at whitehousehistory.org,
mhm.
they actually held the spirit circles or seances in the Red Room at the
Yes,
White House.
I did. I did read that. Do you know which president was the first one to die in the White House?
I may have come across it, but darned if I remember.
William Henry Harrison, the first president to die in office. Harrison is said to haunt the White House attic, rummaging around for who knows what.
Do you know who was one of the first to darn it, I don't seem to have that what I thought I had. But do you know who was one of the first to report the sightings?
Was it Calvin Coolidge's wife, Grace?
No, it was an employee.
Oh, I did not know
His,
that. I know that
his
Calvin's
name was,
wife
hold on.
was.
Go ahead, baby.
No, I knew that she may not have been the first, but she was one of the first.
One of the first, uh, his name was Jeremiah Jerry
Yes,
Smith.
yes, yes.
Yes,
Go ahead.
he worked there for approximately 35 years. He
Yep.
had a number of different positions.
He was
He
a footman,
began,
the official duster,
yes,
doorman.
he started with the Grant administration in the late 1860s as a footman.
Hmm.
He worked not only as a footman, but butler, cook, doorman, and as you said, official duster. And that was his last position.
Yeah.
That's what the position he retired from.
It's
He
also. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
he has a page on Facebook, or a blurb, I should say. There is a thing on Facebook that discusses him.
One of
One
the things that
blurb.
I found. I'm sorry, honey.
Go
One of
ahead.
the that I found interesting about him was that when it was a slow news day, Jerry could be relied upon to have a story to use as filler by
Yeah,
many of the news people in the area.
he is reported to have said something along the lines of the devil himself having a residence in the attic.
It was probably Harrison rummaging around.
Probably because I think they actually said that Harrison, or one of them at least, is supposed to be in the attic.
Harrison is definitely supposed to be in the attic.
Uh,
One of the other ghosts that's frequently seen around the White House, not necessarily in the house itself, but around the White House grounds, is a War of 1812 British soldier who is often
yes.
seen with a torch, apparently trying to set the White House ablaze again.
Um, I know I mentioned this one to you, and you didn't recall coming across it. The Thing.
Yes, the 15-year-old boy. Go on.
Yes. This is a little known spirit. he's identified as a 15-year-old boy
Yes.
that he actually greatly frightened the Taft domestic staff in looks like 1911.
Yeah. If I'm not
Um, Major Archibald Butt, who was President
mistaken.
Taft's military aide, actually wrote to his sister Clara, quote, "The ghost, it seems, is a young boy about 14 or 15 years old. They say that the first knowledge one has of the presence of the thing is a slight pressure on the shoulder, as if someone were leaning over your shoulder to see what you might be doing. President Taft ordered Butt to tell the White House staff that the first member to repeat stories about the thing would be
Be
fired."
fired. Yep. I ran across that article. I did. I kind of found that interesting. Do you
Uh,
know? Hold on.
oh,
I have a
go
question
ahead.
for you. Do you know which royal fainted at the sight of Abraham Lincoln's ghost?
Oh, gee, that was a queen of the Netherlands, was it?
Yes, Wilhelmina. She heard a knock at the door. This is the story as it was reported. She heard a knock at the door. She went to answer the door. As she answered it, Abraham Lincoln's ghost was standing there, and she immediately fainted.
I knew she had seen him. I didn't realize that it was that dramatic of a sighting.
Yes. Well, apparently she had and this is not a knock if we get anybody from the Netherlands who hears this show. This is as it was reported. She had a very weak constitution for such things.
Well, I would imagine, that being a rather shocking and unexpected thing to have happened. So that can have an effect like that on many people. It doesn't necessarily isn't necessarily a knock against her.
No, absolutely, but I wanted to make sure that they did not take it
Right,
that way.
right.
Speaking of their
Um,
one of the royals.
with sticking with Lincoln for just a second as a side note. Um, I don't know if the name Mary Surratt will mean
Yes,
anything to anybody,
yes,
but
I
her daughter Anna Surratt has been seen or experienced, for lack of a better way to put it, banging on the doors of the White House,
do you know
pleading
why?
to see President Andrew Johnson. She's it said she was there to beg for a pardon for her mother, Mary, who was actually an assassination conspirator to
During
Lincoln.
to Lincoln, yes. Yep. One of the other interesting facts that I ran across, and this pertains to Lincoln as well. Um, Winston Churchill, the former British Prime Minister, reportedly saw Abraham Lincoln's ghost while staying in the White House. He was emerging from a bath, smoking a cigar, when he saw Lincoln standing by the fireplace.
On a side note, if you will, and I don't have this right in front of me, so forgive me because I lost some information. So this is from memory. One of the spiritualists that Mary Todd Lincoln consulted in her search for Willie and other lost family members was actually a friend of Booth.
Oh,
Yes, I think I mentioned this to you at one point.
I maybe.
And I don't know that he warned in any way for sure, but I got the impression that there was some um forewarning, and they kind of poo-pooed it.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
It wasn't what they were looking for, so they kind of went, okay, that's nice. This is what we want. We're not gonna, yeah.
Yeah. Here's another. strange and unusual fact. Ronald Reagan once told a story about his dog acting strangely, barking into the Lincoln bedroom and refusing to enter. Some believe this was the dog sensing Lincoln's ghost.
I came across that happened on multiple occasions. That dog or dogs, several dogs have had uh, indications that they're seeing things, but Reagan's dogs, I guess, had that reaction multiple times.
Apparently, yes, I ran across that too. Now this next one, and I know I'm kind of throwing out random facts. I'm not sticking, but I just some of these just really struck me, so I kind of ran with them. This next one was really kind of it showed this person that it yeah. Theodore Roosevelt claimed to have seen Lincoln's ghost and even spoke to it. According to the story, President Theodore Roosevelt, when he was when he supposedly encountered the ghost of Abraham Lincoln, said to have remarked, "Good evening, Mr. Lincoln. You have me at a disadvantage." It just sounds so Theodore Roosevelt to be very cavalier about the whole thing.
Um, Speaking of spoken, this one I just came across, and this, I know that we can't always take everything from history.com.
No.
You know, but this one says a lesser known early White House personality who has been said to haunt its halls was David Burns. Now, this is, I'm not sure exactly. Oh, he sold the most land to the government
He
that,
actually owned he owned the land that the White House
right,
was on. Yes.
including the presidential residence where the White House was built.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
that's what I was saying.
Lillian Rogers Parks, who apparently was a seamstress who chronicled her 30-year career working at the White House in a 61 memoir, uh, told the story of a valet to Roosevelt who reportedly heard a disembodied voice coming from a distance in the Yellow Oval Room saying, "I'm Mr. Burns," during Harry S. Truman's administration.
Mm.
Or pardon me, that's what happened. And then during Harry Truman's administration, a guard heard a similar voice, thinking it was then Secretary of State James Burns. He went looking for him, only to learn that the secretary hadn't been in the White House that day.
Hmm. Dun, dun, dun. Do you know which of the first ladies actually used the the Lincoln bedroom as her study?
Not off the top of my head, but I'm almost wanting to say, just because it's called the Rose Room, I'm wanting to say Dolly Madison.
No.
No. Okay.
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Ah,
She used the Lincoln bedroom as her study and was said to have felt Lincoln's presence when she was working late at night. And yes, Dolly Madison is another one who is supposed to have haunted the White House. Now, this next bit of information that I have does come from whitehousehistory.com. Now, in fact, the next several pieces. Um, I may cover, actually, this is Mary Lincoln grieving over her son Willie's death, and we were talking about the spiritualists. Uh, the presidential cottage at the soldiers' home. Spiritualism was a wildly popular thing during the height of the Civil War as families sought comfort, as you were saying, for the loss of loved ones.
Hmm.
And then I'm going to skip over the story about Jerry because we've already covered that. One little known spirit, that's the thing. A lot of these apparently we've covered. Um, Ghost lore and sightings. As we've already established, Abraham Lincoln is probably, if not the most, one of the most, along with his son Willie. Um, Andrew Jackson, supposedly lying in his bed, as we stated, in the Rose Room, that has been heard in the White House since the 1860s. Mary Lincoln herself has actually claimed to have heard Jackson stomping and swearing. Didn't you? I believe you covered that.
Yes.
Yeah. And as I said earlier, Thomas Jefferson plays his violin in the Yellow Oval Room. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, the Yellow Oval Room is on the second floor and is part of the president's family's private suites. I don't know if I said that earlier or not, but that is the case according to WhiteHouseStories.com.
They
You're
do
not.
have. Oh,
You mentioned. I know you like to talk about Dolly occasionally. You mentioned her earlier, Dolly Madison. Do you know what area she is said to protect on the White
yes.
House
And this
grounds?
is why I tied her to the rose room. She protects the rose garden.
Yes. Yes.
And going back to Lincoln for just a second, they have a theory as to why he comes back when he comes back.
Oh.
Um, I just came across this, and the theory is they say Lincoln always comes back whenever he feels the country is in need or in peril.
I have my. Never mind. We won't talk about that.
I know, but that's the theory that I just came across.
Yes. John Tyler. I think this part is interesting. There are every room is either a color or a flower.
Yes, and I thought I came across John Tyler tonight as well, and I thought this
John
was
Tyler haunts the blue room, where it is said he is proposing to Julia Gardner, his second wife. I
yes.
found that
I'm
interesting.
thinking that might be because that was one of his favorite memories.
Probably.
For
Uh,
those who are thinking, well, all of these are old hauntings that may not even still be, I came across one that's much more recent.
oh, do tell.
The Bush twins.
Oh yeah, they have a sighting.
No, they had audible haunting.
Oh, okay.
They were in their room and they heard roaring 20s music.
Hmm.
They were interviewed on a 2018 interview of the Kelly Clarkson show, or pardon me, Jenna anyway was. And she said that she heard 1920s piano music coming from the fireplace in her room.
Huh.
Um, let's see. She also said our phone that the phone range or rang, pardon me, they had a typo there. Uh, she woke up and all of a sudden they heard 1920s piano music coming out of the fireplace. It was like the middle of the night and you could feel the music coming out of the fireplace.
Hmm.
So, and they said it apparently happened twice because Jenna also apparently told co-host Hoda Kott, I'm not sure how to pronounce Hoda's last name, that as well.
Hmm.
They heard the 20s music one week and opera music the next.
So it was back to back weekends?
Apparently, because it literally says they got the 20-minute music one week and opera music the next on this particular website. That is what it actually says.
I would be curious as to find out which weekends those were and
Yeah,
see if it corresponds with any sort of.
activity, but I would think that Jenna would have known what activities were going on in the White House on those weekends to know if that was corresponding with any activities.
Possibly.
And this, by the way, is from USA.com.
Ah, well, I think that it's, like I said, kind of unique that certain ghosts haunt certain parts of the White House. You know,
Um,
you've got like Dolly who haunts or quote unquote protects the Rose Garden.
and the reason they say that Abigail Adams that was tied with the East Room, the laundry with the East Room,
Right.
that was the warmest and driest room in the building.
That would make sense then.
So that's why she used that particular room to hang the laundry.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Right.
You're going to
So it
use.
was, but I just wanted to state that it wasn't a random place of, well, this, or a matter of this is just the empty room. It
No,
was indeed picked because it was the warmest and driest room in the house.
which again makes sense. Um, Unfortunately, I we've already covered, or you have either you have already covered, or I used a lot of the information that I already had to answer some of your questions. Um,
Yeah, actually, did you cover the First Lady Grace Coolidge saw Lincoln as well?
uh, I mentioned it, um, but and
She
I'm
she
looking
said,
through it
I'm
now.
sorry. She reported that he was looking out toward the Potomac River, so she presumed it. Um, it was a Civil War battlefield.
Probably. And I was not surprised to find out that Willie died of typhoid. You have to remember at that time, the White House was built basically on swampland.
Right.
So typhoid in that era was fairly common, especially when you've got a swampy area like that. Um, it again didn't surprise me that.
Now, I do have, I just noticed this. In the 1870s, a staff member of the Grant administration reported having a conversation with Willie.
Really,
Yes.
did they go into?
They didn't go into detail with it. It just says that he or she reported having a conversation with Willie Lincoln, while several staff members have said they saw Willie's spirit throughout the building.
I would imagine it was a he at that particular time in history. Um, Sorry, ladies, but there was a period in time when it was predominantly an all male game.
Yes,
Um,
but I'm sure there were some females that were doing some of the domestic chores as well.
Perhaps. But yeah, there.
At least of the lesser seen.
Yes, yeah, well, yeah, definitely. Uh, the First Lady Calvin Coolidge and Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands claimed to have seen Lincoln,
Yeah.
as we've already established.
And
Uh,
for those that might be interested, when Willie, and I'm presuming his little brother, would come to Mary Todd, they would appear to her at the foot of her bed.
yeah. And by the way, the younger son's name was Tate.
Thank you. I could not think of that, and I didn't come across it when I was double
Yes,
checking everything
the
today.
younger son's name was Tate. So you're talking about Tate and Willie Lincoln. Um, and as I understand it, Lincoln grieved the loss of both boys tremendously till his dying day, and I can understand that.
Yes, I can relate to some extent.
Yes,
I I imagine that it's even more difficult after you've gotten to hold and see the child.
yeah, absolutely. Um, but yeah, it is said that it almost consumed him. So it does not surprise me that his ghost would return.
Yes. Mary Todd is reported to have said, quote, my, how that Mr. Jefferson does play that violin,
Ah,
seeing Jefferson playing, seeing and hearing him, or at least hearing him.
yeah. Like I said before, with him playing violin, I did not know that fact until we started doing the research for this show.
Mhm.
That really surprised me. Although it shouldn't have, I suppose. He was a bit of a Renaissance man, so it shouldn't. It should have been almost a foregone conclusion that he played something.
Now you said told everyone where the yellow oval room was located, correct?
Second, it is on the second floor, in the suite of rooms attached to the family's private residence.
Yes, it is pretty much when you look at the front of the um, White House
Hmm.
and you see that beautifully arched balcony,
Yes.
that is that room. Whereas the East room is looks to be the entire right side. If you're staring at that again at that balcony, is the entire right side, second floor.
Well,
I
I
believe
believe
it's
that. I can believe that.
pardon
That
me, it's the first floor, but it's still
Oh, what, the East Room? I thought it was the
yeah, the
second.
East room. No, this particular picture is telling me first floor of the White House. I would
Okay.
have thought second floor, being that it's the warmest room. That makes more sense to me, being that heat rises. But this is telling me it's the first floor.
Hmm. Okay. I, that's news to me. I would have thought it was the second for the same reasons that you just explained.
Right.
Especially where they've got people coming in and out quite frequently. Excuse me, into the East Room throughout the course of the day. Um, it would have made more sense, I think, to put it on the second floor. But
Yeah, I would have thought that the second floor, but maybe that second floor had more um drafts.
it's possible. It's possible. But I don't know.
That's the only thing I can think of.
The
That
only thing
maybe the first floor was more aerodynamically, for lack of a better proper word, um, sound. That it was more secure and didn't let air in and out as much.
that's true. Now, another fact that I found interesting was we've covered all of these different ghosts. Um, it's also said that there may still be ghosts that are less
Less
frequent,
known,
less frequent to make themselves known.
right? I have no doubt of that at all.
I would wonder who some of them might be, but I have my suspicions, but I didn't run across anything that specifically named any others other than Taft, McKinley, uh, not Taft, I'm sorry, McKinley, Harrison, Lincoln, of course, um, Dolly. Abigail, you know, and of course Willie. Um, and I would be remiss to forget the unnamed British soldier. Um, I have to wonder if the reason that he is seen strictly outside with the torch is that he got snuffed out abruptly during the height of the war, trying to set the White House ablaze, and he came to his end without warning, if you will, because it's it's really rather uncommon to have one seen in such detail doing something like that.
Now, did you? I know you touched on Andrew Jackson in being in the bed, uh,
Yes.
in the Queen's bedroom, Lincoln's bedroom, Rose
So
room, whichever you choose to call it. Did you discuss the audio portion?
no, I didn't run across that. If you have that, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, it's reported that he lets out, quote, a deep guttural laugh.
Actually, I did run across something that said it was a hearty laugh.
Yeah, this is actually, unfortunately, um mass media, mainstream media, whatever. This is actually from people.com. But yeah, the quote says, lets out a deep guttural laugh from his former bed.
So I'm trying to picture this. The way you're describing it, it sounds as if he may be laying in bed and laughing. Is that, and if that's the case, what's he laughing at while he's laying there in bed?
Maybe somebody told him a really good joke. This one is not specifically saying he's laying in bed when he's doing it. But it says that he's been seen throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, um, and supposedly lets out that laugh while in his former bed, which is located in what is now known as the Queen's bedroom.
I wonder which queen they named it after.
Um, let's see when this article is. This article was released in 22. I'm betting for Queen Victoria.
Probably. That was my thought, was Victoria. I don't think it would have been QE2.
No.
It, the it being referred to as the Queen's bedroom predates her, so
Yeah.
but you're probably right. It probably was Lincoln's, not Lincoln's. Whoa, yeah, Lincoln's. Uh,
You might want to rethink that. Mhm.
yeah. Mary was not queen. She may have thought she was, but she wasn't.
No.
No, it was probably Victoria, like you said. Um, I don't have any more information on this. Did you want to discuss briefly what next week's topic is going to be? We were going to do a short show, I think, tonight, simply because I think we've covered everything that's out there that we can find. Um, and I don't want to continue to repeat myself. I don't want to start repeating myself.
Right.
Um,
No, I just came across this just to give you an idea of how old the Bush twins were. That when they heard the music coming out of the piano, pardon me, the
fireplace.
fireplace. Thank you. It was college days, as she puts it.
So it's
But people would call late, so it wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't unusual for their phone to be ringing at that time of night. but that we can chalk this, we can rule out this being the imagination of a small child.
Yes, but can we
Okay.
really rule it out as a college prank?
Music coming out of a White House um, location,
Paul,
unless it's a college student working in.
okay, maybe not a college prank, but a college tall tale told by a college student who also happens to be a president's daughter
Okay.
or daughters. I,
Mhm.
I'm 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 asking a question. That's all I'm doing.
Yes, yes, you're playing devil's advocate. I
Yeah.
mean, this particular, again, people says that her mother later chalked the story up to Jenna and Barbara hearing the voices of Secret Service agents coming from down the hall. That I'm not seeing. I'm thinking that's Laura brushing it off, because
That
there's a
sounds.
huge difference between voices of Secret Service agents and 20s music and opera music,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Unless they're
voices down the
doing.
hall versus music coming up through a fireplace.
Wait. I have it. I have it. I know what happened. A couple of the Secret Service agents got together. They quickly wrote an opera about 20s music and performed it in a flue that would attached itself to that same fireplace.
They were rehearsing downstairs.
Yeah, well, volume is like heat. It goes up.
Right, but I'm saying they were writing it together in their downtime on duty, and they were rehearsing it downstairs.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
the girls were home those 2 weekends in a row,
Correct.
and heard what was being rehearsed. Meanwhile, mom and dad were either sacked out and didn't hear anything for anything, or they were simply not in hearing distance, whether they were not even in the building or were just not in an area where it could be heard within the building.
Correct. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who think we're being serious, please don't. We, we do not think Secret Service spending its time writing operas about 20s music. We no,
Yeah, 20s music in an opera. Yeah.
that's a heck of an opera.
Although if there happen to be any Secret Service agents listening who are now inspired,
We will
we
take.
want credit.
Yes, we want credit, ladies and gentlemen. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to next week's show. Talking
Yes,
about the Cowboys,
about
and I
cowboys.
don't mean the Dallas Cowboys. I'm talking about the history of
Yeah,
actual.
you know better than me talking about Dallas Cowboys unless I'm going to talk down.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't followed football in several years,
No.
as you know, so I can't really. Uh, there was a time that would have defended them to the hilt, but this is not that night.
Yes.
Um, but no, I am looking forward to us talking next week about the history of cowboys here in America. And no, I'm not talking about the caballeros from Mexico.
No.
I'm talking about the cowboys that drove cattle across
That
bad
doesn't mean
expanses
that
of.
doesn't mean that we're not going to be talking about the red sashed Cowboys.
Oh, you mean the red sash that had to do with the Lincoln County Wars?
Good old Tombstone.
Wasn't that? Wait, was that? Yeah, that was the Lincoln County Wars. Because wasn't that Billy the Kid?
No, I'm talking. Okay, Corral.
Okay, never mind. I've got my history momentarily confused. My apologies. My apologies. Um, but no, that's what we are looking at for next week. Um, for anyone who hears this show after we air it, after we post it, uh, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the chat. Um, any last words, love?
Not that I can think of, except for, of course, my closing, but we haven't gotten to there yet.
No. We. Um, is there any aspect of cowboy life that you want to cover specifically next week
Well, I
as a teaser?
know I know being, that I am, of course, of a different persuasion, shall we say. I'm going to look for some of the ladies.
Ah, and there were female cowboys.
Yes.
Yes, yes, there were. Um, so that should be interesting. I can always count on you to cover the female aspect of most stories.
I tried to.
I know, and I'm appreciative of that fact because I may not consider it. Not because I'm being trying to be rude. I just get wrapped up in other things, and
Right. We both go down rabbit holes. So, what if you don't think of it off the top of your head, you and start out that way, start
it
out
tends,
there, you don't always think to go there.
right, it tends to get lost in those holes that we were just discussing. But anyway, I'm going to give you the last word for the night, and I'm going to, before I do that though, I'm going to tell everyone be safe. We do look forward to seeing you next week, and please take care of yourselves.
Yes. And I do want to thank everyone for their patience with us and waiting for our return with everything that's been going on. And thank you for coming back to us. And with that, have fun storming the castle.